Some of my favorite stories about carving out times for relaxation and replenish come from Franklin Roosevelt. Let's start with his hobby of stamp collecting. It started when he was a child, allowing him to master a small corner of the world, a protected space that was all his own from his very loving but very overbearing mother. All his life, he would spend time arranging and rearranging his stamp collection. It provided a meditative space in which he could concentrate and focus. There's a wonderful story of a visit from Churchill to Roosevelt during World War II, and he recalled sitting by the president's side for 2 hours as the president was just simply putting his stamps in a place, forgetting the cares of the world, until finally a dispatch came in and the both of them had to turn their attention to the world war at large. But he said he just found enormous comfort in watching that Roosevelt could switch himself from those terrible pressures to something like his stamp collection. And then there was also his love of poker, a love that was shared by Truman and Eisenhower. FDR relished the psychological aspects of the game, as I suspect all of them did, and he took particular pleasure in paying by check when he lost, because he figured that the person who he lost to would want to keep the check as a souvenir, so he would never cash it. But the great story is told. It was his custom every year when the Speaker of the House was about to call when Congress would adjourn, he would play a poker game with his cabinet officers. And the rule was, at the moment the Speaker of the House called to say the Congress was adjourning, whoever was ahead at that moment would win the game. So one of these years he's playing with Secretary Morgenthau of the Treasury and a bunch of other guys, and he's way behind when the Speaker of the House calls. So he pretends that it's somebody else on the line. He said, well, we're in the middle of a big poker game. I'll call you back. They keep playing. Finally, at midnight, he pulls ahead and he whispers to an aide, call me back. Oh, Mr. Speaker, you're adjourning. Well, boys, I guess I win. And he rakes in all the chips. Well, Morgenthau finds out the next morning, who had been ahead the first time, that it had closed. The Speaker of the House had called at 9 a.m. He was so angry he came in and actually resigned his post as Secretary of the Treasury until, of course, FDR convinced him that it was all in good fun.